Welcome back. Supply chain disruptions could affect glassmakers and possibly even liquor supplies. Consol Glass, the largest manufacturer in Africa, is battling reduced stock. It says global shipment delays and soaring freight rates are also hampering its ability to import bottles. In 2020, Consol suspended the construction of a production plant in South Africa, citing concerns about government's booze bans. To discuss, we're joined by the convener of the National Liquor Traders Council, Lucky Ntimane. Mr. Ntimane, thank you for being with us. Can you confirm there's no shortage right now, although there may be a threat in the future? Is that correct?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I can confirm that there is indeed a threat to the supply of alcohol, most especially into our tavern sector. Currently, as it stands, Consol is only able to accommodate about 90 to 95% of the elevated total demand. So this is a big risk for us because it means that taverners had to be subjected to rationing of products as the manufacturers cannot really fill the liquids into the glass that is not even available. So there is a big risk, but we are comforted by the fact that Consol has done all they could to make sure that they come back online come May when the Nigel plant is fully operational. So we appreciate that they have taken that investment, even in the midst of a pandemic, to ensure that they're able to support the industry.
All right, so you're saying that the taverns are sort of at the end of the line. The big retailers get the glass bottled liquor first, and then the taverns come last. So are there taverns that cannot secure the liquor they want to right now? I'm just trying to gauge how serious it is right now.
So if you look at the court, which is the big business for taverns, they make up about 70% of the available glass for the alcohol industry. And that is where the biggest shortage is. So that will hit us hard because it means that we're not able to service our consumers at the bottom end because there is that shortage. But, this is something that, we feel hard done by because we had to almost endure 26 weeks worth of alcohol bans. And now that we have overcome that, now we have to deal with, the shortage of glass. But I must also hasten to add that we find ourselves in this situation precisely because of the lockdowns and the bans, which meant that Consol had to almost put on hold the construction of a national plant, which was meant to happen in 2020 when they broke ground. So really, we can put the fact that we are facing this situation at the door of government, which implemented the lockdowns, which we feel were unjustified, and we're having to suffer the consequence of that almost 19 months after the fact.
Yeah, Consol did stop that 1.5 billion rand, I think it was, investment, saying that it didn't really know where things were going in terms of those booze bans. Are there alternatives for now? So Consol is doing, like you said, everything it can. If you can't buy beer in a bottle, for example, can you get it in tins?
No, so we understand, even though we are not from the scientific part of the manufacturing, but we understand that there's some brands that could not really be packaged in a tin, that could only be available in a glass. So that makes it a bit difficult that you cannot really move the liquid from one packaging to another. And it's really putting a lot of pressure on us. Like I mentioned earlier, that almost 70% of the costs come in a glass. So you cannot really ship that volume overnight. This is something that we have to live with. This is something that we as small business owners have to contend with. It is hard, but there's nothing that we can do except just to appreciate and understand the fact that this is what it is.
There's something interesting in the information that I was looking at, and you've mentioned elevated demand, I think over December and January, and then Consol itself was saying that some drinkers have shifted to more premium products, so they're going to higher priced bottles, and that is increasing the demand as well. How is this all happening in our terrible economic environment?
I must add that, the alcohol industry is certainly a most resilient industry that we have as a country. Even though we had to be subject to almost 26 weeks of alcohol bans, but what we have seen is that every time we get an opportunity to trade, we see this huge growth happening at a distributor level and somewhat restricted at the tavern level. So there has been certainly, a move towards not just glass, but also an increase in a premium product offering that contain glass as their packaging. And this growth, can be seen in the results that were presented by Distel SAB and Heineken as well. So there has been some growth, but somewhat in the tavern sector, we think that this growth is somewhat slow, and it could have been better in December if it was not because of the issue of glass. So the issue of glass shortage is something that is affecting us right now. It is not something that we predict is going to affect us in the future, because a lot of our offering resides in glass, most especially the cod, which contributes about 70% of the alcohol volume in the country.
When do you think the threat will be resolved, when there is no glass shortage? Is there any timeline?
So we understand from our conversations with the senior management of Consol that we will only be able to get out of this quagmire come May 2022. And we appreciate that Consol has been open with us. They've been willing to share with us their plans, and we are comfortable that May will be the time where we are able to almost ease off this pressure that we are experiencing. And we also appreciate the fact that the project in Niger was supposed to take 18 months to complete, but Consol did whatever it took to ensure that this is done in 12 months. So we appreciate that, but also we are grateful to manufacturers who are keeping us informed in terms of what is happening. We know that rationing of product is something that kills our bottom line, but we feel that this is something that we have to take on the chin and look forward to a brighter 2022.
Yeah. Finally, is Consol the only game in town? What about other glass makers?
So Consol contributes about 95% of the total glass in the country. So hence, when there is a shortage of glass, the only person that we have to look at is Consol.
All right, very interesting. Maybe for other South African manufacturers that want to compete. Thank you very much. So right now there is pressure on taverns, some rationing going on. It should ease by May. That was a convener of the National Liquor Traders Council, Lucky Ntimane. And very interesting there that there is quite significant growth in premium products even. The more expensive liquor, despite everything that we've been through as South Africa. Let's take a look at your website.